Hey all, hey you fools. How you been? How you doing? How are you now? So I wanted to get on here and share some more dreams, but yeah, because I've been having a lot lately and they have some common threads and some common themes. And continuing from the last stream, yeah, I've been given a lot, yeah, through my being, through my being me, and just, yeah, just dreaming, being dreamed. And so, yeah, there were some interesting things too, like some way interesting things. So, an old habit of mine that I thought, like, yeah, I had, like, kind of transcended or, like, kind of, yeah, maybe more, like, gotten out of the, gotten out of that habit, like, overanalyzing and obsessing about things and overthinking about things. It's kind of come back, kind of come back into my space because yeah, that was one of my survival strategies, like to outthink or to figure it all out, and to that's like kind of like the detective in a way. Not that that's a bad thing, like to look at things and to like want to understand what's behind certain things, but I can get carried away. Oh my gosh, it's too funny. And then I can trip myself up and get in my own way, and then there's Coyote at play. And so it's silly. Silly being silly. So yeah, that's just kind of funny. Like, I had a reading from a friend of mine who's like a really talented medium, clairvoyant, and yeah, one of those cards, that was the first card that came up, was the Thinker. And yeah, um, that was something that I've been working through like the last couple years because actually, like, that was a big part of my insomnia because I would be on this wheel, this hamster wheel, the whole night, like with mind racing with thoughts about what about this, what about this, and then it just lead to like all sorts of like rabbit holes, and then just yeah, then circle back around and yeah, and cycle, yeah, on and on, yeah, and keep me frozen in a way. And so yeah, it's so funny to see it at play again. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's driving me nutty in a little way, but I keep catching myself like, oh yeah, it's okay. Like, this is teaching me something, and it's helping me to let go of old ways of being, old ways of operating, old ways of seeing, or old ways of attempting to control like things around me, or I don't know, like, yeah, just for like that security, because I feel like maybe if I know or if I understand, then maybe I know what strategy to use, or um, how to respond, or how to pretend. I don't know. Like, there's something to that. Yeah. So it's not a bad thing because I've always loved, like, yeah, pondering things and contemplating things and reflecting on things and being self aware. But then, yeah, there's a point where it's over reflection, totally over correction. Um, so I just wanted to read a few things and share a few things that relate to that, and like to the dreams that I'm having, and to the books, you know, that have had messages for me lately, and it all ties in to like kind of the same theme. And yeah, it's just sort of funny how it all does, just what it does. But yeah, I feel like I want to start with another passage from I Had It All the Time. And last time I read this book in my, where I was sharing some dreams that I had, and it's talking about like a radical pastectomy, like to free ourselves from the past, extract ourselves from like, yeah, those old things, and then like old projections, and or projections from the past that we, yeah, use to keep each other kind of frozen or stuck and like really kind of dead. So yeah, it's kind of, silly how we do that because we like to think we know, and like just holding on to those preconceived notions and those descriptions, and uh, yeah, kind of limits the possibilities of what we can see unfolding or coming through, and what is actually, you know, what actually is. So I did follow some of that advice. There was an activity, there was some suggestions or some activation um, where it was recommended go through your closets, anything that you haven't worn for a year, like just get rid of it or throw it away, give it away, or sell it or something, just make some space and make some room. And that's what I've been doing the last, gosh, at least the last month. So yeah, it was time to go attend to my closet, and I had been putting that one off for a while because yeah, that one's like kind of a hard thing for me to do in a lot of ways, just because in my life and during different phases and stages, I have done a lot of yo-yoing with my weight, and so sometimes I want to hold on to stuff because I'm just like, well, yeah, I might lose weight or I might gain weight, so I hold on to certain things because I might need it later. But like some of those things too, like yeah, it's just like kind of like old habits of and generational patterns of, oh, you might want to hold on to that because you might end up needing it, and or someone that might need it, and that's like kind of cool in a way, like to have something that you need, but like, is it taking up unnecessary space where it's not really needed anymore and we can let it go, and it's like kind of blocking the flow of receiving what we really do like want to create and what we do really truly need right now, like, and that's the space for something new. Yeah. And so yeah, I was proud of myself. I had some resistance to that, I really did. I just felt so overwhelmed like the other day. Like I could think of 20 different things that like were on my plate, and it just kind of zapped my energy and sort of made me feel like I didn't even want to start on one thing. And it was just, this is funny how that happens, or how we trip ourselves up in our mind and block ourselves that way. And I just kind of confided in my husband, told him how I was feeling, and he's just like, you can give yourself a break. You don't have to do anything today. Just like relax. And yeah, and so kind of once I remembered that, oh yeah, I have permission to be like, yeah, I can take this pressure off of me and just one step at a time and just be here and be my own friend, and yeah, just unwind. And if I want to go lay down for a little bit, do that. And then, yeah, just be. So it really did help, like, to remind me, oh yeah, I can choose whatever I need for me. And then I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna go get this process started. I don't have to finish it. Like, kind of just like, yeah, just begin and see where where it leads, and see like, yeah, how I feel and what I need. And yeah, it was just like, then I was like, okay, I'll just start on this. And so yeah, I ended up doing my closet, like all my clothes, and that felt like really good to do, actually. And I felt good about it when I was done. And I did throw away a bunch of old clothes, and then yeah, kind of reordered some things. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, like, yeah, um, just taking my own advice and what's coming through me. And so the other day, like, I had picked up this book again, and I remembered, oh yeah, that was interesting, and that was good for me. Because yeah, some of those things, like the overthinking, or what am I gonna say, you know, or yeah, what role do I get to play, or those kinds of things, machinations, and like, where's my place in this parade and stuff. Yeah, it's just kind of tripping me up again, like with old stories and old beliefs, and old ways of thinking and overthinking. And so I just, like just became aware of like certain things or worries and social, anxieties that I'd had that I have actually broken through, like, and done really well with like overcoming, like, and some of those things, like art has helped me a lot with that, and like just being myself and doing my own thing, and beating my own drum to my own rhythm. But like lately, it's just meeting new people and meeting with new groups and stuff. Like some of those old like things have come back up again, and then I just remind myself, oh yeah, like just play the fool, just embrace the mystery, and just be present, and just like embrace the fool, and just laugh at myself, or just remember not to take myself so seriously, and just do my best um, to be authentic and to be real and whole, and the whole true fool, and just let it all go, like what I think I'm supposed to be. And so I remembered that last week I had opened the book to page 31, and it says, you can't prepare to be yourself, and there is nothing you need to do first to be enlightened. Thaddeus Golas. So there is only one moment in which you can succeed at being who you are, and that is now. Authenticity is the single quality you cannot prearrange. When you rehearse who you will be, you lose who you are. Love, our true nature, expresses itself in the moment. If you're thinking about what you're going to say, it is not the truth. Anxious preparation is an attempt to package an image in order to avoid judgment for perceived deficiencies. If you recognize that you already have within you all you need to handle any situation, you can show up at any place at any time and proceed without rehearsal. Founded in the power of the moment, you can move beyond anxiety and call to yourself the success you desire. The way to escape from worry about the future is to dive wholeheartedly into the present. If you can fully be here now, when then becomes now, you will know exactly what to do and manifest results that work for everyone. So, that was kind of awesome. So, and there's another thing that I just read. Oh, that's interesting. It wasn't this, but this is highlighted, and this was on the previous page, and I'm just like drawn to it, so I'm going to read it. Do not wait for preachers or teachers to release you. First, they must release themselves by discovering their own worth. One who knows his own value draws no strength from condemnation. Such a one recognizes that only love and forgiveness bestow true power. Look not to the darkness to find your way to the light. Instead, find even a tiny ray of love and follow it home, to its source. Look again at your hands. You are to be a living expression of wholeness. It is not too much to ask. Anything else is too little. Reclaim your original innocence. God requires not penance, only awakening. You will not storm heaven with dogma. The gates of paradise will open in your heart as you find within you the love you have sought through outer crusades. Know where you come from. You come from spirit. Know your true nature. You are born of the light. Know where you are going. You are destined to live in peace. Where is healing to be found? Only in the discovery that you belong to love. Look nowhere else. In kind forgiveness will the world sparkle and shine, and everything you once thought sinful now will be reinterpreted as part of heaven. A Course in Miracles. Oh, that's cool. It's from I Had It All the Time by Alan Cohen. And the sin that never happened. A Course in Miracles explains that real forgiveness is the recognition that, as divine beings, condemnation does not befit us. As forgiveness is commonly practiced in the world, we decide that an act is a sin and then proclaim that we will overlook it. But as long as we believe that someone deserves to be hurt to offset iniquity, we but affirm the reality of the sin we purport to have pardoned. It is said that we bury the hatchet, but then we remember where we buried it. Out from under the basket. While advocates of our sinfulness are apt to quote biblical passages pointing to our unworthiness, many more scriptures affirm our magnificence. Jesus said, "You are the light of the world. Do not cover the light with a basket." He also taught, "Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." He was not telling us to become perfect. He was telling us that our nature is perfect. In the Book of Prophets, we are told, "You are gods." We have not heard this declaration very often, as our culture maintains a huge taboo against claiming our spiritual identity. We live under a massive unspoken agreement to deny our divinity and define ourselves as only human, in a million ways small. In his classic work, The Book on the Taboo Against Knowing Who You Really Are, Zen philosopher Alan Watts describes our tacit complicity to ignore who or what we really are, complicated by the prevalent hallucination that oneself is enclosed in a bag of skin. We could no more be confined to a body than the ocean could be confined to a wave. Waves but skim the surface of a vast, immeasurable realm, which we may plumb if we wish to know the treasure beneath the obvious. A Course in Miracles tells us salvation is a secret that you have kept from yourself. To this day, many of us live in denial or apology for our magnificence, fearing that claiming our divinity would be hearsay. But it is not. Hearsay is identifying with anything other than spirit. We do not only carry the light, we are the light. So, I thought that was awesome. And then accidentally on purpose, some of the world's greatest inventions and discoveries have emerged spontaneously. Radial keratotomy, the surgical process by which nearsightedness is corrected by making incisions in the eye, was discovered by accident. A laborer in the Soviet Union was injured when a piece of shattered glass cut his eye. Instead of losing his eyesight, as he and his doctors expected, he gained it. That's funny. The shard of glass had cut the eye in just the precise way so as to reshape his eyeball and relieve his lifelong myopia. In this wake of this accident, researchers began to examine how they might recreate this process by design. Now, many have had their eyesight restored as a result of this chance event. And it's like, that's like happy accidents. I love happy accidents. Happy accidents, like, Bob Ross. Like, I've had those, and those are like the best freaking awesome things when something like freaking amazing emerges, like, and it didn't have anything to do with like what our like intention or like what we were trying to control, or like, yeah, it's just hilarious that way, and just wow. So just, trust the universe and trust ourselves, and let, like that, like spirit and spontaneity and authenticity and wisdom emerge and come through us, or just play. So that's freaking affirming and awesome. Like, yeah, because that's one of the things I've been like nudged to do, is like to let go of those kinds of things. And just working with that and playing with that, like what things have to be like or what things should be like, and all of that, and like the perfectionist and the idealist and the wounded child, and the detective, the thinker, or the philosopher, and those kinds of things. They're like great allies to have, and great for me to see. And I think that one is pretty dang cool, that little story about how this guy's sight was restored by accident. And my last video was about seeing and perceiving all the dreams and insight and all of that. And so projections and reflections and what we're able to perceive and things. So that's interesting. And so, I've had some interesting dreams. But the last dream, one of the dreams that I shared from last time, was that frozen lake. And I kind of looked at that a little bit more. And I realized too, like, we can keep each other frozen in time and frozen in the past by like the beliefs that we have and the projections like that we unconsciously direct, or project, for ourselves or onto the other. And so I realized, like, I've felt that be a factor in some of my frustration, um, and feel that it's really limiting. And I felt like, yeah, others had been projecting like their old preconceived notions and their beliefs and their assumptions and their old perceptions or projections onto me, like, and it's just like, yeah, it didn't feel very good. And so I looked to see like where maybe I was also like doing that or participating or unconsciously falling into that. And I was like, oh, well, gosh. So it was a little bit eye opening and illuminating for me to see that, like, yeah, I have, yeah, done the same things. And yeah, it is limiting. And it's not like it was intentional or meant to be limiting or as a control strategy, but yeah, it's just kind of one of those autopilot things sometimes that we don't even realize until we do, you know. And so I kind of, yeah, I was looking at that like the frozen pond that like it was still cycling but it was frozen. So like that totally makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. And also that there was bicycles, and that's kind of punny, like sickles, bicycles. So yeah, it takes two, right? Yeah. And so it was like it's happening like on the inner and the outer, and it's like in the internal, yeah, is a reflection of the external, and the external is a reflection of the internal. So like where can I clear it in myself, and where can I own it, like, yeah, for myself, and neutralize or alchemize that. Because I can't really, yeah, expect anyone else to let go of their own projections of me, but I can actually let go of my old projections or be aware of my, yeah, my tendency to project, or yeah, and then become aware of what I'm projecting. Yeah. So like not just onto others, but what I'm projecting out into the world, as an image or a vision of myself. So yeah, there were some dreams that did show me like exactly that, the last couple days since I last shared. And it has been, yeah, a ride around the wheel this week. Wheel of Fortune, that was coming up. And um, yeah, up and down all around the wheel kind of feels like, yeah, where it's been, I kind of felt heavy in a way, like kind of contracting and stuff. But like, yeah, I think that's just Saturn, the great teacher, teaching me. Yeah. And helping me to face like some things that I really don't like to face, or really don't want to feel, or really don't. It's really hard for me to be with sometimes because of, yeah, my preconceived notions about, yeah, and my judgments about, certain feelings, and yeah, and just working through those. And so yeah, today was one of those days again where I was just feeling kind of frustrated, and I didn't want to feel frustrated, and I didn't. Yeah, certain things were coming up, and I was just like, not this again. But then I was like, okay, like I can just let it go, really. But if it just keeps coming back, like there's something in it for me that wants me to see something, like, and reclaim something for me, or really like let it, allow it to move through me. So yeah, I just wrote a little bit, and then I would like to share, yeah, an enlightening, yeah, eye-opening dream that I had about this. And so I just was writing some things because, yeah, it just kind of helps me in a way, like express it and be with it, and just, yeah, let it move through me. It's a creative outlet, and yeah, and it's like giving myself permission to be, and permission to feel it and to heal it. So yeah, what an emotional ride on the wheel today, feeling upset with or about many things, and why they or we don't see what we need, the thinker, and circular machinations of the mind. Oh mind, why do you mind so much all the time? Really so frustrating, stuck in the mind. In the mind. Oh well, I guess I'll be fine. Guess I'll just own what is mine and unwind. Guess I'll just be love, relax, and remind. that it's really okay, be here and be mine. It's really okay, all love that is thine. It's really okay to be, let it die. And so, um, yeah. Oh yeah, there was just some interesting little tidbits last night too that I got. Like I felt like I was dreaming all night last night, but I was so tired this morning. Like I don't know, I didn't want to like get up right away and write everything down, so I only remembered like yeah, maybe just a small portion of what I actually dreamed, but like I feel like I retained like the messages that I really needed to see or that I really needed for me. And those have, yeah, a lot to do with what I'm releasing and what I'm letting go of, even though it doesn't feel good to let go of. And maybe that's part of it, where it's like letting go of what's known or the monster we know or the dark that we know. Yeah, and then fearing the unknown. Because sometimes it's comfortable to be in our comfort zones, even though it's not very comfortable. And that reminds me of like, yeah, yesterday when I flipped open my medicine cards book because I just, yeah, got that impulse, and it was Black Panther and embracing the unknown, and I just read like what I needed, and I was like, okay, thanks for this reminder, like that's good. That's good for me to know, and good for me to let go, and yeah. So just go with the flow and be here, and like don't beat myself up for falling into old strategies or patterns, but just realize that it's just other layers and stuff. And so just clearing like, yeah, some of this old stuff. And it's not very comfortable sometimes, like getting down to the root and yeah, stirring that up. So yeah, and just like letting go of certain other things that I've been nudged to let go of, and then kind of feeling like some guilt and like what ifs and those kinds of things, and like just worried about getting it right or making mistakes, and I'm just like, man, that's bullshit. I can make mistakes. Let give myself permission to be, give myself permission to breathe, give myself permission to change and grow and learn and be. And so, yeah, just remembering all of that, and then yeah, letting it go and letting it be. But yeah, some of the dietary changes I'm making, sometimes like that can cause some discomfort as well. Like when we're so used to our routines and whatnot, and our body like is addicted to certain things too. So like yeah, an example, one of those things I've let go of lately, and I'm going to like just take a break from. I'm not saying I'm never going to drink it again, but it's coffee. So like the last week or two, like been cutting down on it. Like I wasn't up to very much. It is just like drinking my 2 cups in the morning, 2 cups of coffee, because it's super enjoyable, but it's not really working with my belly right now. And so it's just like, yeah, it's a good time to like let that go. And I've been getting those messages for a couple months now, like that it's not very feeling very good, but it tastes so good, and it's just like, man, it's easier to, I don't know, like just, yeah, stick with the discomfort we know. But like, yeah, the last week I cut down to like 1 cup a day, 1 cup in the morning, and then yesterday I didn't have my coffee, and that was okay because I had some other yummy stuff like a dandelion tea that I like, this dandy blend. And then I had this other really yummy turmeric ginger, like licorice tea. And then I have like this other chocolate tea. And so that's good. But like the one thing though, like, so usually um, drink my tea and coffee with maple syrup, but we've been out of maple syrup too. And so like there's only honey or organic sugar, and I just don't like sugar in my tea. I just don't like the taste of it anymore. And so it's just like, and then like just the honey is just, it's all right, but it's not the same as my syrup. Like I've just really gotten, I don't know, I really love my syrup. But yeah, just that's been just a little hard, and I think like it just been maybe getting a lot less sugar in my diet because this I haven't had the syrup, and so like maybe that's like causing some kind of like withdrawals and stuff, like because I don't eat a lot of sugary foods, but like that's like the bulk of where I get like a lot of my sugar is like in my hot drinks where I have like, you know, sweetened with, I don't put a ton of it, but like that's just, yeah, just haven't had that lately, and that's probably causing some discomfort for me, or it's contributing factor. And so that's kind of, yeah, in a way, like, yeah, it's not like I feel deprived or anything, but it's just like, I don't know, like, yeah, I think it's just one of those things where we don't really realize how dependent we are on things until, yeah, until we remove them or until we let them go, and it's just a little uncomfortable the first little bit. So, yeah, it's just kind of interesting and to see and to look at and to look into, but be willing, yeah. So, yeah, lots and lots of dreams. But yeah, it was just really, oh gosh, I've had so many. It's like I filled up like half of this journal in the last like week. And so, yeah, I've been doing a lot of writing and just been recording a lot of dreams and a lot of messages that they've had for me. And so I'm grateful for that. Yeah, to make use of those gifts and those resources that are available for me. And yeah, it is. Yeah, different ways of being and seeing into me. And so, oh gosh, there's just like huge themes and archetypes and stories that relate to what I'm going through in my waking dreams, I guess, in the daytime. And so, yeah. Yeah, it's just so many pages of writing. But I just thought it was so just wow, like the projection thing, how we can keep each other stuck or frozen. And that's where some of the resistance, I think, maybe stems from too. We're really attached. We're really attached to those projections or to those identities or stories that reinforce the identities that reinforce the stories, or the stories that reinforce the identity. I guess it could go both ways. So, oh, this one's funny too. Oh God, I don't even know which one that wants to be shared. But yeah, because there's so much to all of them and all of this. But like, I wonder what would serve most to share, really. And maybe all of them are, have value. All of them do. But yeah, the one that was most, I guess, of an adrenaline rush, like, with like, yeah, like, that had to do with uncomfortable feelings. Maybe that one's like the one, yeah, to kind of share. But maybe I will share that another time because it was kind of long. So this one was the one that I was planning on. But yeah, this is kind of funny. Overthinking. There's so many things. Yeah, can allow that too, and just laugh and embrace like the fool. The all fool. So I'll just read a little bit of this, and because it was just wow to me after I was looking at those things with the frozen pond, and then how we keep each other stuck in the past, and how it doesn't really serve us now, and it is like a form of spiritual necrophilia, and it's like sometimes depriving ourselves of what's available now. And yeah, what can really be seen now, or what can actually be received now. So yeah, so my dream, me and Scott and Abby and a few others, Abby's my dog, are getting together, having a gathering at our place, and we're in an industrial sized kitchen. And so there's the kitchen again. So Scott is the master chef of this said kitchen, and we are making meals for our group. We're making like loaded chicken sandwiches and a variety of things. It's a large kitchen with a flat stove, or like a griddle type, huge like griddle type like you would have at Benihana. And Abby is up on the tables looking for chicken or handouts. And also, we're cleaning up as part of our preparations and our closure or transition. Endings, beginnings, cycles are all one as they move into the next phase or come together, such as breakfast, lunch, dinner, or in a day, or as a day. Like, yeah, just different parts of, yeah, the, the one. So, our daily, or our symbolic daily meals, phases, stages, time, order, not always linear, but blending, meeting back and forth kind of feel in a way. And an old teacher is at my place, and we're hosting a social or medicine gathering, and she's asking what she can clean up or help with. And there doesn't really seem to be anything really much we need help with. Abby keeps finding or snatching chicken pieces that we're saving for the next meal, like leftovers. Seems like she's up on the table in the counter space. Wily little bandit. Opportunity? Is this showing me an opportunity? Yes. So we're all doing various tasks of cleanup and prep for the day or meal ahead, and from the previous or the last meal, and the next meal. Like, yeah. Last supper. Yeah. Next supper. Like, that's interesting too. Seems like we're almost done at one point, or just wrapping it up, and then there seems to be more to do, more to be done. And then my teacher's walking around, contributing what she can and adding her 2 cents and her unique style to the mix. She's interesting and wise and foolish, but I keep my distance in a way because there's nothing that I really need much help with anyway. And I think she's telling some stories or talking about some things, or relating certain things, metaphors, and old sayings. And then she's going to go to bed soon, but I think she needs or she wants to contribute too and offer something to the group. Yeah, and I'm definitely not in that fawning place, the people pleaser, and into the hero, guru, savior worship phase anymore. I realize that she has her own weaknesses, blind spots, and strengths. She's a human being with gift, strengths, limitations, potential, and her own bullcrap. Also seems like I couldn't see that before, like in a lot of ways before this year. I kind of projected stuff onto my teachers and onto my elders and mentors and like my spiritual leaders. Yeah, like that I thought they could carry certain things for me, or I thought that they did. Like, and they did in a way. They really did, because they helped me see that within me. Like, they helped, show me, like, what I needed for me, and in certain ways, and where I wasn't being true to me. So I'm grateful for that gift. But like, it was kind of hard to see that, like, in a lot of ways where I thought they were like perfect in certain ways, like where they knew certain things that I didn't know, and so they held the answers and I didn't hold. And like, but I know we all hold different things for each other, but it was just kind of a distortion. A distorted way of seeing them and seeing me and seeing we. And so it's, pretty interesting. And so kind of, like having some of those things come up, they did show me where I had expectations, and then like kind of where I was having resentments about like, why aren't you this person that I need you to be? But it wasn't like that clear and obvious, like that's what I, like part of me wanted them to be, and because I just thought they were in a way. But yeah, that was, yeah, false. And that was an image, and that was an illusion that I created for myself. Or, like, yeah, and maybe reinforced. So it also seems like we are separating the waste from, like, yeah, from the edible leftovers. And it was like weird on this plate. There seemed to be poop, like a little bit of poop, like a little bit of poop on the plate. But then there was like this perfectly good chicken, and it was like, yeah. And so it was like just kind of, it was kind of humorous and kind of funny. Like when I woke up, and it was just like, in the dream, it seemed totally like normal. Like, oh, we don't need that. And it's just like, let's clean that up. And that was funny because in my reading, another card was called "Clean It Up." Clean it up. So just sorting through this stuff to clean it up. So cleaning up like the meat from the poop, or like separating the wheat from the chaff and all that, or the wheat from the tares or whatever. And so yeah, sorting out things, and what do we need, and do we need to save everything, or can we just let it all go? And I mean, yeah. So it's lots of work, man. Just like, it was a lot of work in the dream. Like, it didn't seem like when someone offered help that there was anything that they could really do, but then it seemed like the work was just kind of never ending in a certain way, because yeah, it's just all continuity and just, yeah. And then I see Scott has pillows kind of strapped to his feet, and his feet are tender and sore or tired, and they're worn out, but he still wants to do things in his own way rather than delegate or assign tasks or duties to someone else, because he likes them done in his way. And I was like, so he'd rather not have help? Yep. And I wrote down in little brackets, open and receive, let it go and be. So let go and be. So I'm arranging, yeah, like stuff on a plate for later, leftovers, and kind of finishing up cleanup and preparations for the next day. So I want to pause there, though, and say something about, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of funny how we kind of refuse help in certain ways because we want it done our way, or we want it done in a certain way, or we think it should be a certain way. Or sometimes, like, I know, like, we've all had help before where it's nice to have someone's help, but it's not done in the way that we want, and it's like we need to do it over again because they didn't put as much attention, or do it thoroughly like we would do sometimes. And that's kind of, I think, sometimes where we like to be self-reliant because we like it done in our own ways, to our own liking. And sometimes that's okay, but I feel like sometimes we're carrying so much like Atlas on our shoulders because we won't open up and receive the help that's being offered and available to us. And so, like, there's certain messages in there for me, and it was just kind of funny to see it that way. Like, we're really tired, but we still, like, we're kind of stubborn, and we want it done a certain way, so we won't accept the help, and we get in our own way, and that's where some of the resistance, and that shows me a lot about, like, where I can maybe let go of some things. And my husband is kind of like that. He won't ask for help sometimes, but lately he's been better about that, like receiving help and asking for help. So my teacher is walking away to go to bed and playing a song that's been an old theme song of hers. And I realized I used to think it was so cool and original, but now it's kind of sad, tired, and old. It's like a recording. And it's not as impressive now that I'm a little more seasoned and a little less green or naive or prone to pedestal hero saint worship and idolizing or idealizing her or other peeps. And I almost think, oh, that's sad in a way that she's still playing the same theme song as she walks away. It's like a biker babe theme song in a way. And I was like, rock on, sort of. And but I finally realized that she is another human being and not a deity. I fully realize now. I finally realize. But she's not a deity that I assumed she could be for me in the beginning and the middle of our relationship. And maybe there's a part of her that still wants to impress me and receive my love, worship, validation, and attention. Or maybe just connection. Maybe just friendship. rather than adoration or idealization. And then she comes back in, already halfway into a story or an allegory, like saying something about how a farmer cognizes a pig, and a pig cognizes the farmer, recognizes and chooses its fate, or that they're brought together in certain ways before they're brought together to meet this way. And that's sort of funny. Like, what's being internally created, like, and being projected. Yeah, something to look at. Yeah. So yeah, they're brought together in certain ways before they're brought together to meet this way. And like destiny, will, and fate, some kind of parable or story to illustrate. But I think it's strange the way she delivers it, or is kind of half in and half out, like in the hallway, and or in the middle, or just after the beginning of the story. Yeah, so like in the hallway, like in between the rooms, in between the kitchen and the other direction, or the other rooms. And then also the story, she was in the middle, or yeah, not, yeah, just like halfway into it. So that's interesting, like in kind of transition, or yeah. And maybe it's like holding the space, yeah, and the tension, yeah, for that message to come through, or being in the in between worlds, or yeah, maybe there's something that wants to come through there into my awareness. So it's funny, like there's some kind of sequence or steps being skipped over, or missing, or missed at the start, at some point. And maybe it's fine because the message is what's important, or the overall story contains all the parts, and the parts reflect or contain the whole within it. But why has she come back in to offer this random tidbit, and what does she really need? To be included and allowed to be a human being? That's so interesting. And I wonder, excuse me, oh, maybe she also gets to reinvent herself or her own image, and start all over again as well. So let her be herself, and don't be attached to images, expectations, or idealizations of the past, projections, and pedestal perfection, or pedestal images of perfection, limitations, descriptions, or judgments, resentments, old patterns, roles, and molds. So yeah, that was pretty enlightening and illuminating for me to see. So I wrote down some questions. Where can we receive help, the help that's being offered, or acknowledge that help that's being offered, and get out of our own ways? And where do preconceived notions and old ways of operating, comparing, relating, keep us stuck in the past, or frozen and rigid and not fully present to be here fully now? And a funny thought, chicken poop for the soul, because of the chicken and the poop on the plate. Chicken poop for the soul. LOL, great fertilizer sometimes, but sometimes really not needed. Let it go. And yeah, we don't need to hold on to everything. It's a blessing to release it. Also, an old theme song, like a recording being played as we walk away. That's funny. Yeah, like in some of the movies that we've watched, how often does that happen, where there's a certain theme song where someone's walking away? Yeah, just kind of funny. Silly being so silly. So are we skipping certain things, or missing essential pieces or parts of the story? Are we reinforcing our identities through repetitive songs and stories? Are we projecting old past images that are heavy, because it was like rock on, that are heavy, clinging to the past image? Are we projecting past images onto the living in the present? Or living from the past, or living here in the moment, and in between worlds, or doors, or rooms. Yeah. And then the pillows caught my eye. Pillows strapped onto Scott's feet, tired, weary, but not willing to accept help being offered. That's a form of rigidity, and like our old comfort zones. Like, yeah. But comfortable but not comfortable. Like we'd rather, yeah, it's kind of funny. So it says, rest your souls. I wrote, rest your souls. Rest and let help be received. Let the available help be received. I am willing to be open and receptive to the blessings, lessons, gifts, and opportunities. And so, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Like just kind of like looking at those things, and then like having that dream that night actually that I did in my last video, and so that was, yeah, eye-opening. And then this morning where I only had like, yeah, recollection of a small part of the dream. It's just pretty short, but it was, yeah, it was something for me to really see, because it relates to a lot of things that I'm choosing to release and choosing to let go of, or I'm willing to let go of, and willing to like let go of some of the resistance I've had to letting go. And yeah, because that's one of the hardest things. I mean, it's been one of the hardest things, or so I believed, to let go. Maybe, yeah, just letting go of my own resistance and getting out of my own way. It doesn't have to be so hard, but like it, I mean, just because it doesn't feel good in certain ways, because it's the monster of the darkness, or the comfort / discomfort that I know. And so there's a kitten, like a very tiny, like almost newborn, like little tiny, fragile, sweet little kitten. But like its eyes are open and it's able to move about, and she's needing care. And I'm like kind of confused in the dream, like if like her mother abandoned her, or if I'm actually, yeah, am I rescuing this kitten, or removing the kitten from its mother or family, or its needed source of nourishment. I really do care for and adore this little kitten, and am concerned for her well-being, but I may not be able to provide everything that she really needs at this stage of her growth, and the stage of her life, and the stage of her needs. So it seems like I sometimes get distracted or forget that she needs something like nourishment, attention, presence, nurturing, and then I remember that it's time to feed her. And I think she was taken from her mother a little prematurely. Interesting. It makes me think of one of my friends now, as I'm writing this down. Like, I have good intentions, but my actions and decisions may be depriving her of what she really needs at this stage and phase. And there was a lot more to the stream, but I was tired this morning and I didn't write it down right away, so it's kind of hard to recall. But maybe this is what I get to see, or the main message of this stream that I needed to see for me. And so, yeah, that really kind of connects to some things where I have like, yeah, good intentions, but you know that saying, the road to hell is built with good intentions. And yeah, because I do like to give things, and I like to share things, and I like to care for people, and share the gifts, like that I have to share, and that I can receive. Like I love to give and share, but like sometimes like there's a point in knowing when it's time, like, to care for me, or to know when it's not serving anymore, like in certain ways, even though like like it's been a pattern and I still want to, because it kind of makes me feel good too. It makes me feel important, so there's like that self-importance there. And then there also is like, it's an old dynamic in a relationship. So yeah, where it's kind of a codependent thing. And yeah, and just old strategies that aren't going to work anymore, that will be a disservice and a great waste of energy, and it will keep us stuck in the past and those kinds of things. And yeah, just kind of working through those things, and feeling like a little bit, I don't want to abandon, or I don't want to feel like I'm abandoning certain people or friends. And so there's that in a way too, like that doesn't feel very good, or if it doesn't feel very comfortable, but allowing the discomfort is what's necessary sometimes, like in those ways, in order for us to shift certain things. And so, and I don't want to be the bad guy either, like, yeah, but yeah, just kind of got to let that kind of stuff go. So my next little snippet, that was interesting. So there's a cousin of mine. He's a male, and it was really strange, like in a way. And I wrote down first: is it self-harm or a severing, or is it like a form of a ritual or a spiritually necessary thing? He's cutting himself with a knife on his left side. And he's starting just under the armpit or on the side of his left breast and going down to different lower areas and making new promises or new intentions. And it seems to hurt a little bit, but not really. It's meant to show me something to help me change my direction or my choices and my perception. I'm not sure, but I think that there were 4 or 5 times that he sliced into his left side while saying some incantations or something, deliberately making some kind of self-sacrifice. Like, yeah, because it was, for, to help, cut away what was no longer needed in certain ways. So that's kind of the message that I got. But there was so much more to these dreams, but that's all that I recalled. But maybe that was like the meat of it for me, or the bones of the story for me, that I really did, like, need to see for, me, and to confirm for me certain things, like this is what's needed, like. And that's kind of like what I was upset about today. I was like, why can't we see what we need in certain ways? Like, why can't we really see? Because we're like in our own way. I don't know. Like, and it's like, is it our ego's needs, or is it our like true well-being's needs? And that was like what I was kind of working out today. But now I kind of feel like sharing, like, and speaking, and I feel like I have a little more clarity with that. So that's awesome. And so I was feeling a bit sad and depressed today. I was just feeling all the feels today, like, not feeling very good about certain things, but like, and overthinking things. And I didn't want to indulge in self-pity. And so I was like, how can I allow myself, to feel what I feel without like going into like the stories or like those old strategies, or, like complexes and things. So, so I'm not feeling like doing much of anything. How can I allow myself to feel all I feel and not indulge in self-pity or self-importance? Realizing that my mind is the only mind that I can truly change, and I can let go. I can choose to let go of resistance. I can choose to let go of my resistance blocking me. And maybe I do need some distance and rest, and that's okay. So I've caught myself wanting, needing, attempting to figure it all out logically, going in circles, chasing my own tales of idealism, preferences, and stories, seeing certain parallels and reflections, projections, and old wounds coming up to be seen, trauma and disappointments, resentments, expectations, agendas, limiting my and life's possibilities, and my abilities to see all I am able to see and receive. So I am willing to be here with me and let it all go to show me what I really need for my true well-being and integrity. Fullness and wholeness, I release all to thee. I'm willing to show up and be here with me. Where might I be depriving myself of the nourishment, nurturance that I really need? And where can I be more attentive to me? Where can I be more easy and free? What is asking me for inclusivity? What is asking for permission to be? What is asking for forgiveness and release? What is asking for integration and healing? What is asking for intimacy? So, so good work today. Like, just like, getting out of our own way, and like, just kind of